There is a moment many families do not talk about. It usually happens after the hospital visits, after the funeral, after the neighbors stop bringing food, after the flowers begin to wilt. The children walk into the house, they open the closets, they pull down the boxes from the attic, they step into the garage, the basement, the spare room, the cabinets, the drawers, and the spaces where a whole life has been quietly stored. At first, everything feels important. The dishes, the tools, the books, the old blankets, the framed photos, the Christmas decorations, the papers, the furniture, the little things kept in envelopes, tins, and plastic bags. But slowly, painfully, another truth appears. Most of it has nowhere to go. And that is when many older Americans learn something that hurts more than they expected. Their children may love them deeply, but they do not want most of their stuff. For decades, many people saved things because saving things felt responsible. You did not throw away good furniture. You did not waste dishes. You did not get rid of tools that still worked. You did not toss out blankets, books, lamps, kitchenware, decorations, old letters, or boxes of family memories. If something had value once, it felt wrong to let it go. That is how many homes became museums of effort. A dining room set that was expensive in 1978, a china cabinet filled with dishes used only a few times a year, crystal glasses wrapped carefully after every holiday, a garage full of screws, paint cans, extension cords, and tools that might be needed someday. None of these things were just objects. They were proof. Proof that a family had worked hard, proof that people had built something, proof that life had weight, history, and meaning. To understand why this hurts, you have to understand where it came from. Many older Americans were raised by people who remembered shortage. Parents and grandparents who lived through hard times did not treat possessions casually. They repaired things. They reused things. They saved jars, boxes, string, buttons, paper bags, old towels, old furniture, and anything that might become useful later. Waste felt almost immoral, so when that generation became adults, they carried the lesson forward. Buy quality. Take care of it. Keep it. Pass it down. And for a long time, that made sense. A good dining table could serve 3 generations. A set of dishes could become a family heirloom. A father's tools could go to a son. A mother's jewelry could go to a daughter. But the world changed. And many people did not notice until the boxes were already full. The younger generation does not live the same way. Many of them rent smaller apartments. Some move often for work. Some live in cities where every square foot is expensive. Some already have their own furniture. Some prefer simple rooms, clean shelves, and fewer things. They do not host formal dinners the way their parents did. They do not want heavy cabinets. They do not want boxes of crystal. They do not want old encyclopedias, VHS tapes, extra dishes, or furniture that takes 3 people to move. This does not mean they are ungrateful. It does not mean they do not care. It means their lives are different. And that difference can feel like rejection to a parent who spent decades saving things with love. Because when a child says, "I don't have room," a parent may hear, "Your life doesn't matter." But that is not what they mean. There are few sentences more painful than this one. "No, Mom, I don't want it." Or, "No, Dad, I can't take it." The child may say it gently. They may explain that their apartment is too small. They may say they already have dishes. They may say the furniture does not match. They may say they love the memory, but they cannot take the object. Still, the words land hard, because to the parent, that object is not just a chair, a bowl, a lamp, or a box of decorations. It is Thanksgiving. It is Christmas morning. It is the house when the children were small. It is the years when everyone came home. It is the marriage, the work, the sacrifice, the pride. And when the child does not want the thing, it can feel as if they are refusing the memory. But memory and possession are not the same. That is the lesson. And it is not an easy one. Every family seems to have one object like this. The big dining table, the china cabinet, the bedroom set, the old piano, the grandfather clock, the heavy sofa, something large, expensive, and important in its time. Maybe it was bought after years of saving. Maybe it was the first good furniture the couple ever owned. Maybe it sat in the same room for 40 years. The children grew up around it. They did homework on it. They ate birthday cake on it. They watched grandparents sit around it. But now the children have their own tables, their own houses, their own tastes, their own lives, and the object that once symbolized family togetherness becomes something nobody has space for. That is one of the cruel little surprises of aging. The things that once held everyone together can become the things everyone quietly avoids taking. For many fathers, the garage was not clutter. It was possibility. A shelf of tools meant problems could be solved. A coffee can full of screws meant something could be fixed. Old wood, spare parts, rope, wire, paint, nails, brackets, and jars of hardware were not junk. They were readiness. A man could stand in that garage and feel useful. He could repair a chair, fix a screen door, build a shelf, patch a leak, sharpen a blade, or help a neighbor. But when he is gone, the garage can look very different to the children. They may not know what half the tools are for. They may not have a workbench. They may not own a house. They may not want 5 boxes of things labeled miscellaneous. And suddenly, a lifetime of usefulness becomes a weekend of sorting, donating, selling, and throwing away. That does not mean the garage was meaningless. It means its meaning belonged mostly to the person who used it. Some of the hardest things to throw away are photographs. Not because they take up much space, but because they feel morally heavy. A box of old photos can stop a whole family in silence. There are faces no one recognizes. A picnic from 1963. A wedding guest nobody can name. A soldier in uniform. A woman standing beside a car. Children in front of a house that no longer exists. To someone, these photos mattered. But if no one wrote down the names, the stories begin to fade. And once the person who knew the stories is gone, the pictures become mysteries. This is why one of the kindest things older parents can do is not simply keep the photos. It is to label them, tell the stories, write the names, choose the best ones, because memories do not survive inside boxes. They survive when someone knows what they mean. Then there is the paperwork. Bank statements, insurance forms, old tax returns, warranties for appliances that disappeared 20 years ago, medical papers, house documents, receipts, instruction manuals, expired policies, letters, cards, stacks of paper that no one wanted to touch because some of it might be important. This kind of clutter does not look emotional at first, but after a death, it becomes one of the heaviest burdens. The children are grieving, and now they are also searching which paper matters, which account is still open, where is the will, where is the deed, what bills need to be paid, what passwords exist, what can be shredded, what must be saved. A parent may think they will figure it out, but figuring it out while grieving is a cruel inheritance. Sometimes the best gift is not money. Sometimes it is a clearly labeled folder. Closets carry a different kind of pain. A husband's jackets, a wife's dresses, shoes lined up as if someone will return. a robe still hanging behind the door, a drawer of scarves, a tie from a wedding, a purse with old receipts still inside. For a widow or widower, clothing can feel impossible to release, because clothes hold shape, they hold smell, they hold memory in a way furniture does not. Letting go can feel like betrayal, as if donating the coat means erasing the person. But keeping everything forever can also freeze the house in grief. There is no perfect timeline. No one should be rushed through sorrow. But one day, gently, some people realize that love is not kept alive by keeping every object untouched. The person is not in the closet. The person is in the life they changed. Most parents do not want to burden their children, but many accidentally do. Not because they are careless, because they underestimate how much they own. They look at one drawer, one cabinet, one closet, one box. The children see the whole house, every room, every shelf, every drawer, every decision. Keep, sell, donate, throw away. Keep, sell, donate, throw away. Again and again, hundreds or thousands of times. And every decision carries guilt. What if this mattered? What if Mom wanted me to keep this? What if Dad would be hurt? What if I throw away something valuable? That is why clutter after death is not just a physical job. It is an emotional job. It forces children to make decisions their parents avoided. And sometimes the greatest kindness is making those decisions while you are still here. There is one simple question that can change everything. Do you actually want this? Not someday. Not after I'm gone. Not when the time comes. Now, ask your children what they want. Ask your grandchildren. Ask your nieces and nephews. Ask the people you imagine will treasure these things. And then believe their answers. If they say yes, give it to them now if you can. Let them enjoy it. Let yourself see it being used. Let the object live another life before it becomes part of a sad sorting day. If they say no, try not to hear it as rejection. They are not rejecting you. They are being honest about their space, their taste, their lives, and their limits. Honesty now is kinder than confusion later. A painful answer today can prevent a heavier pain tomorrow. There is a beautiful kind of giving that happens before it is too late. Not the giving that comes after death. Not the giving that happens through boxes and legal papers. But the kind where you hand something to someone and see their face. A quilt. A watch. A recipe box. A toolbox. A photo album. A chair they always loved. A small dish from childhood. A fishing rod. A necklace, a Bible with notes inside. When you give while you are alive, you get to tell the story. You get to say why it mattered. You get to explain who owned it before you. You get to turn an object into a memory that someone can actually carry. That is different from leaving behind a house full of silent things. A gift with a story is easier to love. A box without a story is easier to donate. There is another difficult truth. Many things are worth less than people think. The dining set that cost a fortune may sell for very little. The china may sit unsold. The collectibles may not have the market they once had. The antique furniture may be too large for modern homes. This can feel insulting. How can something that mattered so much be priced so low? But market value and life value are not the same. A table can be worth little money and still have held 1,000 meals. A cabinet can be unwanted by buyers and still have been beautiful in its time. A box of decorations can be nearly worthless at a sale and still represent 40 Christmas mornings. Do not let a price tag rewrite your memories. The world may not pay much for your stuff, but that does not mean your life was cheap. It means the value was in the living, not the resale. The answer is not to throw everything away. That is not the point. A life should not be erased. Some things deserve to stay. The wedding photo, the war medals, the handwritten recipe, the letters, the family Bible, the one tool that built half the house, the quilt made by hand, the small object that tells a real story. But the key is choosing. Not everything can be a treasure. When everything is treated as important, the truly important things get buried. A house full of objects can hide the few that matter most. So the task after 60 is not simply decluttering, it is editing, choosing what still speaks, choosing what someone can understand, choosing what carries love without creating burden. A small box of meaningful things can say more than a basement full of forgotten ones. Letting go can feel like loss at first. But sometimes, after the first hard decisions, something unexpected happens. The room feels lighter, the closet opens more easily, the garage becomes walkable, the dining table can be used again, the house stops feeling like storage and starts feeling like home. People often think they are protecting memories by keeping everything, but sometimes the memories are suffocating under the weight of too many things. Letting go does not mean the past did not matter. It means the past no longer needs to fill every corner. There is dignity in choosing. There is peace in making space. There is love in saying, I will not leave this all for someone else to carry. That is not giving up. That is taking responsibility for the final chapters of your own life. Your real legacy is not the sofa. It is not the china. It is not the boxes in the attic. It is not the garage shelves. It is not the closet. It is not the old paperwork. Your legacy is how people felt around you. It is the advice you gave, the meals you shared, the stories you told, the way you showed up, the forgiveness you offered, the courage you modeled, the laughter people remember, the values that outlive your possessions. Children may not want your stuff, but they may still want your stories. They may want your recipes. They may want your voice. They may want one object that reminds them of your hands, your humor, your work, your love. Legacy is not quantity. It is clarity. A few meaningful things, given with love, can carry more than a whole house left in confusion. So yes, the truth is painful. Your kids probably do not want most of your stuff, but that truth does not have to be cruel. It can be freeing. It can help you stop saving things for a future no one asked for. It can help you use the good dishes now, wear the good coat now, tell the stories now, label the photos now, give the gifts now, clear the papers now, ask the questions now. It can help you understand that letting go is not the same as being forgotten. The people who love you do not need every object you owned in order to remember you. They need your wisdom, your honesty, your peace, your blessing to live their own lives without carrying the weight of every box you could not open. The painful truth after 60 is this: your children may not want your stuff, but they still need what only you can give them. A lighter burden, a clearer story, and permission to remember you without being buried under everything you left behind.